Okay. Stop what you're doing. I mean that literally. Whatever tab you have open, whatever you were about to do next, just pause it. Because I pulled the cards for this reading about an hour ago, and I've been sitting here ever since trying to figure out how to start. Because honestly, what came through is not something I want to rush. This reading is for someone specific. And if you feel that pull in your chest right now, that quiet thing that says, this is for me, then it is. Trust that. Keep going. Because what I'm about to tell you has been trying to reach you since last night. And before we go any further, my name is Lily. Not the Lily who shows up with rehearsed lines and a ring light and a script she read once before hitting record. The Lily who pulled these cards this morning and had to actually put them down for a minute because what came through hit somewhere personal. The Lily who sat across from her own version of everything I'm about to describe and knows, really knows, what it costs to keep pretending you don't feel what you feel. That's who's talking to you today. So, if you're new here, welcome. You didn't find this channel by accident. Stay close, subscribe so these readings keep finding you. And know that everything I put in this space is made for someone specific. Today, that someone is you. And if you've been here before, you already know what this is. You know I don't do surface level, so let's get into it. Oh, wow. Okay, this is not a gentle opening card. This card right here, before I even say anything about it, just sit with what you feel when you look at it, because something in you already responded before I said a word. I can feel it in this energy. Right? Someone in your life right now has basically reached a point of no return. And I don't mean that dramatically, I mean it quietly. The way real things actually happen, not with noise, not with a scene, just this slow, inevitable shift. Where a person realizes that the thing they've been carrying in silence has become too heavy to carry the way they've been carrying it. That thing they've been carrying. It's you. Not casually, not as a passing thought between other things. You have taken up residence in this person in a way they did not plan for, cannot explain, and have completely run out of strategies to manage. And last night was different for them. Something crossed over, a line they didn't even know existed until they were already on the other side of it. And now they're standing there in this new territory thinking, okay, something has to change. I can't keep doing this. That shift is moving in your direction right now, whether you're ready for it or not. Okay, so this one. I need to talk about who this person actually is because this card is giving me so much texture on them. And honestly, I think understanding them is going to change how you receive everything else in this reading. On the outside, composed. That's basically the word. They move through their world with this quality of having things handled. Not cold, not distant, just measured, deliberate. The kind of person who thinks before they speak means what they say when they actually say it, and has very little patience for people who do neither. People read them as hard to reach. They're not hard to reach. They're hard to earn. And there's a really specific difference between those two things. Most people never figure out which one they're dealing with, right? But here's what this card is showing me, and I find this kind of fascinating, actually. The world gets one version of them. Controlled, capable, self-contained. You got something else. Not because you tried to. Not because you did anything strategic. Something about you got through a door that most people don't even find. And now they're sitting with this version of themselves they don't fully recognize. This version that checks a phone for no practical reason. Replays a specific moment from a conversation you had, like a song stuck in their head that went still last night in the dark, and finally admitted something to themselves they'd been very successfully avoiding. They admitted that what they feel about you is not going anywhere. And for someone like this, someone who basically prides themselves on having things handled, that admission is enormous. It cost them something to make it, and they made it anyway. So, I have to tell you about last night specifically, because this is coming through so clearly it would feel dishonest to speak around it. Last night, this person picked up their phone, they went to your name, stayed there for a moment, and then they started writing something, not the safe surface version they've been rehearsing in their head. The real thing. The actual thing that sits underneath all the managed behavior and the careful composure. Pure, unfiltered. This is what I actually feel honest. They had it written, and they sat there with it typed out and ready. Read it back and closed it. I know that might sting a little, but stay with me, because here's what that closed message actually means. And it is not what your fear is going to tell you it means. Here's the thing. People don't agonize over things they're uncertain about. You agonize over the thing you want so much that the wrong version of it, sent in the wrong moment, landing in a way that does damage that can't be undone, feels like a risk you just can't take. That unsent message is not doubt. That unsent message is how much this matters. The weight of it. The care around it. The absolute refusal to treat something this real as something casual. That message exists right now. Sitting in a closed window on their phone. The truest thing they haven't said to you yet. And every day, it gets harder to keep it there. Okay. Now I need to talk about you. And I need you to actually stay with this part instead of reading through it quickly, because honestly, this is the part of the reading that I think matters most. You have a feeling about this person. Not a small one. Not the kind you can genuinely classify as probably nothing, no matter how many times you've tried. A real, specific, has been there for a while feeling that lives in a very particular place in your chest and shows up without permission at very inconvenient moments. And what have you been doing with that feeling? You've been managing it so carefully, so responsibly, talking yourself down from it, filing it away, reminding yourself not to project, not to assume, not to want something into existence that hasn't been confirmed yet. You've been so disciplined about not getting ahead of yourself that you've basically built an entire system for keeping this feeling at a safe, controlled distance, and you've been calling that system maturity. But here's the thing. I need to ask you something, and I actually need you to answer it. When is the last time your maturity held you back from something that was going to hurt you? And when is the last time that same maturity held you back from something that wasn't? Because here's what I'm seeing in this card. The same protection that kept the wrong things out has been keeping this out too. Not because this is dangerous, because your system can't tell the difference anymore. It got so good at protecting you that it stopped asking whether protection was actually needed, and just started applying it to everything that felt significant, and this feels significant. So it got the full treatment. Every time their name appears and that thing happens in your chest, that fraction of a second before you even look, where your whole body has already responded, you override it, you pick up the sensible explanation and hold it in front of the feeling like a shield. That response in your body is not a malfunction. That is the most honest information you have access to. So I want to go a little deeper here because this card is kind of pushing me to, and I think you need to hear this said directly. At some point, and you know when, even if you don't want to name it, something happened that taught you a very specific lesson, that wanting something visibly is how you get hurt. That hoping out loud is dangerous. That letting someone see the wanting before you have ironclad proof it's safe. That's how you end up feeling foolish. Exposed. Like you handed someone something valuable, and they handled it carelessly, and now you can't get that version of your trust back. So you learned to keep the wanting quiet, to move it somewhere interior where no one could see it, and therefore no one could use it against you. And honestly, that learning wasn't weakness. It was a completely rational response to real experience. But here's what that lesson costs you now. It can't distinguish between the person who will hurt you and the person who will not. It just says, don't show them. Keep it close. Wait for certainty. And certainty never fully comes. Because certainty is not something another person can actually hand you. You have to decide to trust. And deciding to trust when you've been hurt before is terrifying in a way that feels almost indistinguishable from wisdom. That terror is not wisdom. That is an old wound trying to make decisions for your present life. And it is wrong about this one. Okay, so something else is sitting in this energy, and it's been here since the beginning of this reading. I've been kind of circling it, but I have to name it now. There is a third person in this situation. Not the person we've been talking about. Someone else. Someone who exists at the edges of what is forming between you, close enough to feel it developing, close enough to understand what it actually means, and they are actively not okay with it. And I want to be really clear about what I mean by actively. This is not someone sitting quietly with their discomfort. This is someone doing things. Small things, calculated things, designed to introduce just enough noise into what is forming between you that it struggles to find its footing. A comment that landed strangely and you couldn't figure out why. A moment of their presence appearing at exactly the wrong time, when something between you was just starting to breathe, and then suddenly the air in it changed. A piece of information released at a specific angle. Something said about you, or about them, or about what they thought they observed. That was just slightly off from true. You may have felt the residue of this without being able to identify the source. That slightly wrong aftertaste. That conversation that ended differently than it began. That small, inexplicable distance that appeared out of nowhere, and you couldn't trace it back to anything specific. It had a source. Here's what I need you to take from this. And honestly, only this. Wolves Don't circle what isn't worth taking. What is forming between you is real enough that someone else felt threatened by it before you even fully admitted it to yourself. You don't spend energy disrupting something that's going nowhere. You don't feel threatened by something that doesn't matter. The interference is the confirmation. Their fear of what you might become to each other. That is evidence of exactly what you might become to each other. Note it. Be aware of it. Don't give it more weight than it deserves. And then step over it and keep going. Let me tell you something about who you actually are right now. Not a pep talk. Not something designed to make you feel good before I send you on your way. Something I'm genuinely seeing in this energy that I don't think you've been told clearly enough. You did the work that most people spend their whole lives avoiding. Not the visible work. I mean, anyone can do the visible work, right? Because the visible work gets acknowledged. I'm talking about the invisible work. The sitting alone with something uncomfortable and choosing not to look away from it. The recognizing a pattern in yourself that you didn't want to recognize. The grieving something that deserved to be grieved, instead of just moving on and dragging it behind you into the next situation. Most people never do that. They rearrange the furniture of their pain and call it healing. They take everything unprocessed and bring it into the next relationship, and then wonder why the new relationship starts echoing the old one. They stay in motion so they never have to be still enough to feel the thing that actually needs feeling. But you got still, and you felt it. And because you did, because you actually went through that and came out the other side carrying information instead of just scar tissue, you have something now that genuinely cannot be faked or rushed or given to you by someone else. You know the difference between someone who loves you and someone who loves how you make them feel. Between someone who is present and someone performing presence so convincingly that it almost passes. Between something that is right and something that is just not painful enough yet to leave. That knowing is calibrated. She walked through fire. Now she reads smoke. And that calibration, right now in this situation, is not alarmed. It is quiet. And in you, given everything you've been through, that particular quiet is not emptiness. That is the clearest. Yes, your system knows how to give. Okay. Here's what's coming, and I want to say this with the specificity it deserves, because this is not a vague, the universe has a plan kind of thing. This has an actual shape. There is a conversation approaching. Not small talk. Not the kind that starts light and stays light and ends with you both exactly where you were before it happened. The kind that starts as one thing and somewhere in the middle of it, without warning, without a dramatic announcement, becomes something else entirely. Something true is going to get said, maybe in very few words, maybe in a silence that lands heavier than anything spoken around it, maybe in a question asked with too much care to be casual. Maybe in a look held 1 second past what neutral looks like. However it arrives, you'll feel it before you understand it. Something in you is going to go to a very specific kind of quiet. Not uncomfortable quiet. Still quiet. The kind that only comes when something finally makes sense after a long time of almost making sense. Your body is going to process what's happening before your brain has even caught up, and everything you've been so carefully managing, all the responsible distance, all the disciplined not letting yourself feel, it's going to be there. Fully there. Not overwhelming, not a flood. Just settled. Exactly the way something feels when it's arrived at the place it was always supposed to be. Some arrivals don't announce themselves. They just land. That moment is not a maybe. It is already in motion. And honestly, the only thing in this entire situation that has any power to slow it down is the energy of someone still bracing for damage that is not coming. So stop bracing. Hands open. Let it come. I want to spend a moment on your past, because this card is kind of asking me to. And I think there's something here that needs to be said and released before we close. You loved people who were not built to hold what you gave them. I want to say that again, because I need you to really hear the difference between what I just said and what you've probably been telling yourself. You didn't love the wrong people because your judgment was broken. You loved genuinely, fully actually, without the protective measures you have now, in the direction of people who didn't have the architecture for what you were offering. That is not a flaw in you. That is a flaw in the container. And every time a container proved it couldn't hold what you brought, that was not rejection. That was your life refusing to let you get permanently stuck in something that was never going to be enough. The losses were not punishment. They were protection, wearing a very convincing disguise. And now, on the other side of all of it, you're not damaged. You're not broken. You're not someone whose capacity for love has been diminished by the experiences that tried to diminish it. You're someone who knows exactly what they're looking for and knows it when they feel it. The account is settled. Walk forward. What's coming towards you is not a test. It's not another lesson dressed up as a possibility. It's not something that'll ask you to be smaller or more convenient or less than the full size of what you actually are. It is something built for exactly that size. Last card. And I mean it when I say, breathe before this part. Actually breathe. Okay. Here's the truth underneath everything I've said today. You already know. Not because of this reading, not because I told you. You knew before you clicked on this. You knew last night when you felt that thing at the edge of sleep and dismissed it. You knew when their name came up and your body responded before your brain did. You've known for longer than you're comfortable admitting. And you've been running a very sophisticated operation designed to keep yourself from having to act on what you know. Because acting on it means it becomes real. And real things can go wrong. But here's what else real things can do. They can go right. And you've been so focused on protecting yourself from the first possibility that you've been living at a distance from the second one. Tomorrow morning, in that specific soft space right before the day starts, before the noise comes back in, before your defenses come back online, something is going to feel different. Not dramatically, not a parade, just lighter. Like a question you've been holding, tensed in your body, has quietly released, without you deciding to release it. Like something that was waiting for permission, finally stopped waiting. That is not this reading. You were always the sign. That is you. Finally letting yourself know what you already know. Stop looking for the confirmation. You are holding it. And hey, before you go, if this reading sat somewhere in you that didn't move when you tried to shake it, that means something. Don't brush past that. It found you for a reason. If this is your first time here with me, I'm Lily, and honestly, this is just what I do. Not surface readings, not vague feel-good content. Real energy, real cards, real messages. For the person who actually needs to hear it that day. If that's something you want more of, hit subscribe. It costs you nothing. And it means these readings keep finding you when you need them most. And if this one resonated, like this video. Not just for the algorithm, though, honestly that does help. But because it tells me this kind of depth is what you're here for. And I'll keep going deeper. One more thing. Think of someone in your world right now who's been quietly carrying something heavy in their chest and hasn't told anyone. Send this to them. No explanation needed. Just send it. They'll know exactly why, even before they reach the last line. I'll see you in the next one.